What's going on, everybody? Welcome in episode number 41, Motorsports Almanac Podcast coming at you. It is the last pull of the indoor season this weekend. Keystone Nationals coming up there in Pennsylvania. And NHRA Gainsville has kicked off their season. Light limited supers are getting component chassis allowed very soon down here in Kentucky. And a couple of other announcements to go. Here on the Motorsports Almanac Podcast tonight. Joined by always is Wyatt. Zach is going to be joining us here a little bit later on, I'm sure. But, dude, it's finally time to go pulling because after Keystone, I think we've got, a 2-week break, and then we're starting to go out into going to the pulling world again.
Yeah, it's finally becoming warm. It's the last pull before I think winter's over, hopefully. I don't know about your state, but Iowa turns winter every 5 seconds. But I think we're thinking about going pulling season. Like you said, Keystone's happening this weekend, and you give it 2 weeks, we're outdoor already in Louisiana.
Yeah. Mid-South Pullers obviously kicking off down there in Louisiana. Going to be a fantastic show. Great people. Great food on Saturday afternoon in between the pulls. They have a big crawfish deal there, so that'll be a lot of fun. I think that poll is actually going to be live streamed this year for the first time ever. I think Full Poll is actually going to be doing it. I haven't heard that sure yet.
It was free live stream last year with Pulling Texas because they're pretty close, but since Full Poll is going down there, and there's quite a few names actually going down there that they haven't quite announced there. People haven't posted about yet, but I believe it's going to be bigger than last year already.
Oh yeah, I do too. And one of the really fun things about Hammond is that you never know who's going to be it down there. I mean, we've seen Hammond Harvester down there a ton. We saw Bowsman's down there last year. I think we've even seen Gallett's go down there before.
Gallett's been down there last year, and they're going in this year.
Oh, they are? They're going down to Hammond again this year.
Yeah, it depends on if they're taking one or if they're taking both, because that's still up in the air.
Yeah. Super excited for that event. I'm not going to make it down there. Just got too much going on here back home, but that'll be an awesome event as always. And then after that, I mean, the weekend after that, we've got Russellville, Kentucky's Farm Stock Pool. And then I think it's April the 12th. We have Litchfield, Kentucky Crusade for Children's pool there again this year. Looking forward to going there with the Super Farm. But yeah, let's talk about Keystone Nationals real quick. Starting on Thursday, 5:30 p.m. A lot of fun classes going on for you that night.
Yeah, if you hear it from a lot of competitors who have been there to watch or compete, and it's been stated multiple times that they believe that this is the best facility for polling, period. You have, like Zach stated, it is one big indoor facility, and you never go outdoors. So that's really nice to have, and it's really very, very clean place. So, and it's got a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, it does. Thursday, 11,000-pound hot farm, top 5 to the finals. I think that's 95. I think that's how they mix the 9,500 guys are on the 2038s, and the Snyder County guys are on 24.5s. I think that's how that's going.
I think so.
Yeah, we made picks for this pool. We have no idea how they're going to pan out. For all we know, we could be doing really good or we're going to be doing really bad. There's no in between for us. 10,000-pound hot stock modifieds, 10,000-pound pro farm, 62 modified 4x4 Slight 1, 77 light limited turbo. From what I've been told, that's their version of 85 limited pro with an intercooler at a lighter weight. From what I've been told, anyway.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think Marty and Smokey, I think they've got a tractor entered into that class. That actually ran at Cloverdale Midwest Winter Nationals. Friday at noon, you've got your mini rods, your small block minis, 1950, 1900, 1900 small blocks, 2050 big blocks, 1900 small block flight 2. And then Friday night, we get into the fun stuff. 93 Super Farm, your big block mini final, your 1950 naturally aspirated small block minis finals, 85 light pros. I've seen a couple of guys still in the dyno, so they're going to be crunching time to get there. For the pool, 62 mod 4x4 Flight 2, 1900. I'm not sure what the ST means there for small block minis. Dual the fuels, your 1900 pound small block minis, then your 85 mod turbo Flight number 1 going off there on Friday night. And then Saturday morning, you've got your 10,000 pound Pro Farm, and then 4,500 pounds small block trucks, 85 mod turbo, 87 limited pros, which I think is just mod turbo with recast heads, I think, from the guys that I see in it and from what we've been told.
Yeah, there's quite a mix of rules they have out there.
Yeah. 8,000 limited pro 3.0 diesel trucks. This is actually kind of the class I'm looking forward to the most because we're going to see Amanda Weakland's new paint scheme on Just Putting Up a Fight. And I would be lying about it if I'd said that I haven't seen it. I have. It is absolutely slick and sick. I cannot wait for them to reveal that thing. Super excited for that. And then 77 light limited turbo Flight number 2. So that's the other 85 limited pro Flight class.
Yeah.
And then finals, just throw everything in there together for good measure.
Yeah. Like Chris said, yes, 8700 limited pro is recast head. So
yeah. Chris, how's the tractor coming, dude? Are you off the dyno now? Everything lived? Everything okay? Just want to make sure before we get there.
From the video he posted, it seemed like everybody was hooting and hollering from what they've seen. So I think it went okay.
That's good. Super excited for that one. Like I said, guys, this is a marquee event. Been around a long time, and they've been doing great year after year. It's going to be an exciting show, I think that's for sure. But there's another pool going on across the pond. I think it's called Indoor Putin, maybe?
Yes. Indoor Pool Putin. It is so usually during the NTTO or Euro Cup year, they have called Beach Pole Putin. It is right along a lake, ocean type. I don't really know what to call it, but it is right on the water, and it is one of their highest attended events outside of Mata and Fuchtorf, which is the Green Monsters pole.
Yeah,
and the indoor pole is one that you will kind of never see before or see anything like else, I should say. We've been sent the schedule, and it's a lot of your limited classes with your Champions Tour type Euro Cup classes mixed in, but they're blowing smoke indoors without a smoke pipe.
Yeah, hang on, man. I've got it pulled up right here. I've got a picture of the entire track pulled up there. So yeah, this is where they pull, and they've got what they do is that they take sections of that ceiling out and they put the big fans in. But at the end of the building, like they build onto the building, like it's a temporary build on, and they have really, really big fans as another way to pull the smoke out of there. It's actually pretty slick and it works really, really well. I watched this event last year. They had it for free on NTTO's YouTube, I think, if I remember right. And I was going through their Facebook. They sold out for this poll for both days within 2 hours of tickets going live on sale. So people love this poll.
Yeah, it is for anybody that pulls in your super sport type classes or your 4.5 ton area classes. It is the who's who. And then you get the intertwined mixed in of your Euro Cup classes, your minis, your minis. I believe I may be spoken. I don't think they do have Superstocks. They have minis, Superstocks, and I believe 2-wheel drives.
Yeah,
last year they had light mod and modified, but with the track conditions that were there, they didn't bring them back. I don't believe.
Yeah,
but it is one of the rowdiest. I believe is one of the rowdiest indoor pools I've ever seen.
Yeah,
period.
Yeah, it's really neat. I love it.
So we're going to be we'll hopefully share a link of some sort when we get it this week so people can check it out, because it will start at a good time Friday and Saturday where we can watch over here. It'll be like
start like 10 a.m. our time or something like that.
It's 10 or 11 a.m. our time on Friday and Saturday, so it should be pretty well good enough for everybody to watch it, say in the shop on Saturday or Friday night or whatever it is. But they got they have a participant list as well, and for the Superstocks and your minis and your two-wheel drives, they have some good stuff coming. So
I am looking for that participant list right now, and I don't see the participant for the supers and the minis. I see it for the tons. I don't see it for
which
Yeah, I
could be
don't-
like your different day schedules too. But Superstocks, like Blue Thunder, Lucky Luke, you got your Extreme Deer. They have some really heavy hitters going over there, and the Fent tractor they have over there, Hurricane, is there too. So,
yeah. And I mean, their numbers for the classes, they're limited, about 13, 14 per class. I mean, it was a lot of fun to watch last year. I really enjoyed it. And if I get a chance to watch it, I'll watch it. That's for sure. If not, I'll probably make it a point to go back and watch, because it was really fun last year. But yeah, dude, it's like you said, they had mods there last year. Just the way that track ended up being after having so much on it throughout the last couple of days, it just didn't work, which is
yeah,
unfortunate.
I think a lot of, and
Really
I don't know if this is I've never asked them this question, but I don't know if it's a problem that they have so much heavy equipment going on at once, because you have your heavy.
What I wonder. Yeah.
You have your heavy farm stock super sport type vehicles on it. Then you have your roller tractors that are also four-wheel drives. So you have a lot of compaction in that track. So it makes kind of like hard as concrete. So I think having your heavier weight classes that can actually get something as grip probably helps them a lot more. So
yeah, hang on a minute. I want to show this off before we move on real quick. Yeah, so this is the building they have it in. You see like that little temporary build on right there in the center of your screen. That's really cool. And this entire
that's the vehicle.
area,
That's actually the vehicle entrance. So you see the gravel to the right there. That's where they pull the vehicles up to, and they drive in that temporary add-on. The way I watched it last year, they're driving into that temporary add-on right up to the sled, and they back up into the sled.
yeah. It was really cool last year. Can't say enough cool things about that pool. So I mean, if y'all want to watch pulling and you can't go to a pool this weekend, you've definitely got ability to watch it no matter what time of day it is. But it'll be going on. Chris, what's going on, dude? Good to see you in here. Andrew, what's going on, dude? I've been having some fun with you on the TikTok lives here last few days. But yeah, that indoor Putin pool. I'm sure we'll get a list of the Superstock guys. I'm sure somebody will send it to us before the show's over.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. I'm excited now. Like, I always enjoy getting to watch their big pools when I can.
Chris Baker, yeah, the Fent will be in Harrisburg. That's the MySick Fent I'm speaking for over here. The Fent I'm talking about is the Hurricane, which is an older type Fent hoodwork tractor over there.
Yeah,
the Hurricane team has been a top stout tractor over on the Netherlands circuit for years.
Yeah,
I mean, it runs like a bat out of hell.
Yeah, and I'll tell you the thing that I find really really cool for this is like, so you saw all the grass field there. They bring
Hopefully that's
like
not my internet.
Temporary. I don't know. Oh.
Let us know in the comments. Let me know in the comments. Is that my internet or is that his? Because I feel like that's his. We'll give this a second. Okay, it is Shane's. Okay. Which is kind of funny because this has never happened before. I'll just keep going. Yeah, it like you say, it's a lot of temporary, but they put a lot of work into it. Temporary stands, building add-ons, concession stands, entertainment they have there is top notch. Everything they do for entertainment value for their fans over there is top notch, and that is something we need over here, and they show us out on. So hopefully you're back. I don't think he is. But yeah, anybody that wants to throw in the comments, we can go over that type of stuff. Chris, I seen you commented on hoping Thursday morning, but probably Thursday night. I still got to paint weights under the hood. Okay, Chris, are you painting them or are you powder coating them? Because I've seen a lot of guys, they powder coat their stuff. A lot of guys around here like to powder coat their weights or outer panels, skirting, whatever you want to call it. They like to powder coat that stuff. So he's got that Walmart Wi-Fi. Yeah, for sure. Do you have a paint? So, Chris, do you have a paint booth that you use, or you have an alternate shop do it? Yeah, you like to keep your stuff shiny, so that's always good to see. Boy, this is really going to suck if I have to keep this going solo. Yeah. So anybody that we've already said, there is no shortage of pulling this weekend. We have Keystone, you have indoor pole Putin, there is no shortage, and there's also anything like on Full Sports you can watch this weekend too. So there is no shortage of any type of entertainment that you can get this weekend. So
yeah, my bad. Apparently, whenever you have fiber internet, they still don't make you bulletproof. I don't know what in the world's going on with that.
Anyway,
yeah,
as you were saying,
yeah. So where are we at?
You were talking about temporary for Putin.
Oh yeah, the temporary parking thing they make up there. Yeah, it's really neat. But yeah, man, we've got a lot more going on than just pulling right now. I mean, NHRA kicked off their season in Gainesville. Man, what a weekend there. The guys having a lot of trouble in eliminations on Sunday. That was crazy. Spencer Hyde made his debut in the funny car. Didn't make the field the first race. I feel like if he would have had another qualifying attempt, I think he was going to be very comfortably in. But I mean, there was a lot of big names that said like, "Hey, they didn't make it."
Yeah, and we could honestly give a whole show upon the Gator Nationals with all the stuff that happened. Weather was obviously an implication. As you said, Spencer did not qualify, but that there's so much potential for him in there. He clipped the timing block there at the end of the track. If he would have been in and not hit the time block, he was in the top half of the field, not even a question. So
yeah,
that was one thing we've seen a lot of people in qualified positions we've never seen them in before. Justin Ashey was in 14th for one.
Yeah.
And he's one of the best leavers in the class. Tony Stewart, for how good he did in testing, was in the bottom half of the field. And then Trip Tatum was number 2. So,
man, he had a bad crash, didn't he? Yeah.
And that just goes
a lot worse.
Yeah, and like just Kevin just said, it's not Gator Nationals without rain. That's just like Toma. It's never not Toma without rain.
Yeah, so, I mean, here's the thing. I'm going to jinx it now for this year by saying this, but up until a couple of years ago for Hopkinsville, it's pretty much guaranteed you were going to get rained out one of the nights. You just didn't know which one. It was a toss-up. But we've got more comments here. Man, you guys are here showing up big time, the boys from the East tonight. Greg Farringer, the rules say 87 Limited Pro allows recast head, but it's pretty common knowledge that there are recast in the mod turbos. Ugh. Well, that ain't no good. So you guys have a separate class just so you guys can have the recast heads then, right? If I'm understanding this correctly. I've never seen, I'll be honest with you, I've never seen an 8,700-pound Limited Pro. Honestly. Mark, what's going on, buddy? Long time no talk. Glad you could make it in tonight. But yeah, man, Gator Nationals, NHRA is back for their 74th year. Next year's the big 75. I cannot wait to see what they come out with for that. But that reminds me, while we're here and you guys are all here, we need y'all's help more than really ever. NHRA has leaned into allowing influencers into their races to be able to go and cover them and video and bring you all sorts of cool videos, right? So, we need your help. We're at 15,000 followers. We've got to have 25,000 followers in order to get into the burnout box with the NHRA group. So that is our new goal for whenever we go to an NHRA race. We know we've got a long road to get there, but with y'all's help, I know that we can get there for sure. So if you guys are seeing our videos, like, share, and subscribe to whatever we're on, and follow, be a huge help. I know the algorithm hasn't been on our side here as of late, but man, that's our big goal for the year.
Yeah, and it's a way for NHRA to grow their audience to audiences like what we're trying to do here. Cross over between one audience to another, increase the interest of other motorsports between each other.
The interest is there, by the way.
And it is there. It
is there big
full there. It's just a matter of fact of having the right connections, having the right people to help you on your team, to bring stories and cool stuff to the masses. I know we've seen, just from our experiences, we've seen a lot of people. I know we've been covering pro mod a lot here, drag racing in general, and trying to get dirt track there too. But the amount of interest that has grown based upon stuff around, I'm not just trying to blow smoke everybody and say that we're the best at what we do, but something like what we do is bringing interest. I've had a lot of people text me, say, "Hey, what time is the race?" Or "How can I watch this?" And you text them and you tell them, well, that's another person watching it. That's another person getting interested in that sport. And hopefully we can do the same thing for drag racers over into polling. We've already seen that with a couple of photographers we know that are coming to polls now. So how can that grow? How can we boost that even more and make the motorsports world better than what it already is?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's all about the connections you make, and just make sure, man, we got to get more eyes on everything. It doesn't matter if it's drag racing, pulling, or dirt. You know, we've got to get our eyes everywhere for sure.
Yep.
But anyway, off that soapbox. I hate doing stuff like that, but man, I really would like to do that sometime this year.
Yeah, and there's places around us that we can go to do that stuff. I mean, we got local NHRA tracks here. Shane's close to some ODSS, NHRA stuff, St. Louis. I mean, it's all there.
Yeah, St. Louis probably going to be happening again. I'm going to go ahead and call that one. I'm probably going to go to that again if I can. That was so much fun last year, dude.
Yeah, but going back to the Gator Nationals, I think everyone can agree that was probably the most odd Gator Nationals we've seen. I know, Shane, I told you, I said this has been one weird year for the Gator Nats. In the past, we've seen such excitement, but this year was such, I wouldn't say skepticism, but there was a lot of uncertainty with the weather, how everything was going to shake out, and it shook out kind of how we expected with all the weather that came in. Eliminations were wild. There, if you looked from the sky cam they had on the starting line, say you have a starting line polling that is hooking up nobody, you're just spinning off the line. That's exactly what the Gator Nationals was this weekend. We've seen, so if you have a road and you have rubber on it, you're going to hook up. Drag racing, okay? It was basically like running on bare concrete. There was the rubber was being peeled up. The rain was affecting the entire length of the track, and you have no idea if you were going to get down the track. We only seen in Top Fuel 2 of the 16 cars made it down the track. So
yeah, Tony Stewart dialed it back a little bit. Said, "All right, boys, somebody's got to make it down through here so we can actually have a lane choice."
And what was crazy was he went in the second round and made an even better pass and lost just by that much. And
he's gonna okay. I gotta talk about what was said there down there at the end of the track. I can't remember who said it. Who was it?
Bob Tasca?
Yeah, Tasca. Calling out Fox Sports like that and all the Formula One guys coming at him for it. Like, look, or not Formula One, IndyCar. I understand how physically fit you have to be in IndyCar in order to be able to maneuver the car. But for goodness sakes, you've got to have the quickest hand-eye coordination known to mankind to be able to go straight at 330 miles an hour. I would say it's a bit more of a challenge. Just
And
saying.
I was gonna go on this too when we got
the work thing. Kind of got me though. I kind of laughed at that pretty good.
I did too. I know everybody on here has always said the same thing about like pulling. Oh, it can't be that hard to go down a track and this or drive this, but
hard, dude.
I'll say this about any motorsport. I'll say this about any motorsport. It doesn't matter if it's pulling, driving a superside diesel truck, a pro stock, a modified, or drive a top fuel core Indy car. You have to be. Yeah. It is hard. Don't cut it any other way. It is hard of what motorsports racers, drivers do.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
This is not a cut at anybody. It is hard to do IndyCar. Those guys train to do what they do. It is also hard to do NHRA. Keeping a 12,000 horsepower funny car straight at 335 miles an hour takes a lot of coordination, takes a lot of strength and physical fitness to do what they do.
Yeah. It takes a lot of physical fitness to maneuver all the corners that they have to, though, too, in an Indy car.
It's difficult all the way around.
Yeah. I would argue that Indy car is so much more of a strategy, luck-based type of deal, though, too.
It's a longevity thing.
Yeah.
It's a longevity thing. It's like we'll take the track and field comparison. All right. They say, oh, sprinters are only going 100 meters. Well, they're going sprinting at all out, pushing every being of their body to its limits. Okay.
Yeah.
Say you got IndyCar and NASCAR F1, you have to lengthen that out. Okay. You have to have the endurance, and that's what that motorsport's for. And then pulling is kind of like your field events. Okay. It's the farthest. Who's got the most strength to pull at the farthest? There's so many comparisons that we can get, and all of it has its own market, has its own difficulties and challenges. And that's what people don't understand, is that each has their own challenges. And if you say something is easier than the other, you don't know what it takes to do what they do. That's why any person that we meet in drag racing, it's like, you got to give them their flowers, because it is hard.
Yeah. Andy said best thing to happen was Tasca causing some beep, and then that's good for business.
But he moved the needle. There are people talking about drag racing.
He did what he set out to do. I'll give him that.
There is people talking in the comments about that interview that are now watching NHRA and what those guys do based upon his comments.
Yep.
Did what he say stir the pot? Yes. But was it good?
Yeah.
Ultimately, yes. So.
Yeah. By the way, Andy, good to hear from you again, my friend. Been a long time since we've heard anything from you. Chris Comaroni, I'm surprised they didn't cut the mic. Nah,
but it was a good thing they didn't, because I think NHRA is ultimately going to pan out good in the end from what happened.
I think they're going to get more better out of that than bad. I think that's a fact.
Yeah, and like Andy just said, the NHRA is leaning into it as they should.
Makes our point. Yeah, man. But so do we tell, or do we wait a little bit longer for the special guest we've got lined up for a special edition next week?
I mean, you might as well. I mean, it's going along when we go into the racing portion again here.
While we're talking about drag racing, so. You guys, we were just talking about this ties back into our whole discussion. We have been fortunate enough to land an interview with Tommy Franklin Motorsports, the owners of the PDRA, and the entire Tommy Franklin Motorsports crew. Blake, Mr. Tommy is going to be there, I'm sure, and I can't remember her name. She has the junior.
Probably both of them, Amber and Ashley.
Yeah, we're going to get everybody, Amber and Ashley. I know it started with the A. I just thought I was mistaken by putting them both together. I'll be honest. But yeah, man, we've been blessed enough to land that interview next week. And we'll be right back here next week. I think next week it'll be the 18th. Yeah, March 18th, we'll be back here. We'll interview them, and I'm sure we'll go over some of the stuff that happened from Keystone and the fallout from that.
But again, it goes to the point of what we were saying before about connections between cross motorsports.
That's what I like, Andy.
but like I say, it's the connection between cross motorsports. The more connections you have across motorsports in general is going to be good for everybody.
Yeah.
And for Tommy and Judy and the whole PDRA team, it can bring more light to what they do in their association.
Yeah.
But can it also bring guys from them interest in what we do? Yes.
Yeah.
So that's the ultimate goal, and you have to work towards that.
Yeah, and here's the other thing too. That's not the only thing that we're gonna be up to with the drag racing side. We actually were reached out to by someone from Steve King's group. We will be dropping a recorded interview with Steve King, the World Series of Pro Mod winner, to either Friday or early next week. Whenever we get that recorded and done up, and like I said, man, yeah, it's waking up to that at about 5:30 in the morning is kind of like, okay, this is gonna be a good day.
So that makes that makes the third straight World Series of Pro Mod winner
that we've had. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Kind of crazy to think about. I mean, last year I think we were the first to interview Derek. I think we were the first one that everybody saw on there.
Right after Westbuck, yes.
Yeah. So yeah, y'all be on the lookout next Tuesday. We will be live next Tuesday. We're gonna be promoting the absolute crap out of that show for next week. I will go ahead and tell y'all now, y'all's feed's gonna be blown up with that.
Yeah, it'll be something. I like where we're going. It's been a crazy journey that we've gotten to talk about the things we love and things that are interesting to us, and something that can interest motorheads alike. So,
yeah. Oh yeah, our comment being featured on the West Buck show the other day was pretty cool too. I forgot about that one. Yeah, because y'all, we're gonna try to go down to Bradenton next year for. I don't know if I'm gonna go down for one or if I'm gonna go down for two out of the three, but we will be down there for World Series of Pro Mod. I know, and I'm planning on U.S. Street Nationals. That's the two I'm planning on right now.
Yep. So always looking to improve and bring cool stuff and bring discussion points. Really.
Yeah. Hey, and Zach, bro. You're a smidge late. You're about 34 minutes behind. You're not on the way to a tractor pull, bub. Come on now. I know he's busy. I just figured I'd give him crap while I could, though. But you want to switch gears back to pulling?
Yeah, I think honestly, I want to go back to the Keystone portion of it just a little bit. Like we were talking about Amanda Weekland, obviously bringing out a new paint scheme.
Yeah, man, time out. Charles, dude, we wouldn't be where we are without you, brother. That's a fact. We wouldn't be where we are. Anyway, go ahead.
Zach's currently at a dinner with Bad Boy. Well, I guess you got to keep them happy. So,
hey, man, we need more sponsorship in pulling. Get them hooked. Let's go.
Another thing that's interesting about again with the indoor thing is the amount of crossover we've already seen with people traveling to different indoors. Cloverdale, we've seen California boys come in through the weather and pull there. Louisville is obviously one that brings in a bunch of crossover. Shelbyville saw that with the 2-0 drive class. Harrisburg, we're seeing that 3-0 class. I don't know if you looked, but we have Jason Wayman going out for 3-0s.
Yeah. I don't know how that's going to work. I'll be curious. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember who I picked. I really don't. 3-0's not Amanda's typical class either. So, I don't know. If she spins it the way she spun it at Cloverdale, why not?
Yeah.
She spun the crap out of that thing.
Yeah, but I think it just goes to show that people are wanting to go and pull against the best, and I think that's what Jason's always done. And I think others are trying to see that too. We go like we're talking about Hammond. Hammond's another one. It's not during the point season. People are going to run against some of the best. So I think we're seeing kind of a turn. Like we've seen this in like the World Series of Pro Mod had 80 Pro Mods there. We're seeing that polling. Guys are going to these large events or one-off events and showing their talents outside of where they normally run, showing other parts of the country that there's not just our region has the best. We over here are some of the best too. So I think that's the cool thing we're seeing now. We're seeing more and more of it every time too. So I think it just creates that more excitement for the season when it comes to NTPA, Outlaw, PPL, that there's more coming yet that we don't know of, and everybody should be excited.
Yeah, we really should. But should we get into the more controversial thing that's happened over the weekend?
Yes, because everybody is everybody talks about that.
Yeah, I need to do an advertisement for a certain someone who's got their tractor for sale first, because I promised him I would. As much as it actually breaks my heart to see that this tractor is for sale again, it is. Richard Taylor has put the Farmall 706 Light Limited Superstock Diesel for sale. We all know the lineage of this tractor. This tractor runs like a scalded banshee. This is a proven winner many, many times. So all the details are there on Richard's Facebook page. Make sure you go and give that a look whenever you guys get the chance. I hate to see that tractor's for sale, but you got to do what you got to do sometimes.
All right, so here's the question that leads into the discussion topic we were going into. Is this may be completely off the wavelength at all, but is that tied to the whole component discussion?
Or is it a completely
separate issue?
Well, I think it's a little bit of both, because here's the thing. If Battle of the Bluegrass allows it, it's not if, it's when, because they said starting in 2026, we would run a separate class for component tractors and light limited super. If an ag light limited super would like to run on the nights that it's a component class, you can run it at 6,250. Components are going to be run at 6,000. Whenever it comes indoors, I feel so bad for Clinton Tucker on this part, because he's somehow got to make this work now with components being thrown into the mix. But knowing Tucker, it'll work at some point, some way, somehow. Yeah, I don't know how these. I think the weight's going to stay the same for. I think this weight indoor will stay the same, but I don't know, man. I wish I would have been there at the meeting for this. I really do. I don't know what all went on, but there was something that has led them to this decision. Now, who's going to be the one that follows it? That's the question. You've still got TNT sitting over here. They haven't put out anything. Mid-South hasn't. Those are going to be the two that I'm really curious to see what happens. If TNT allows it, does it benefit Mid-South? If TNT doesn't do it, do they gain a lot of the Battle of Bluegrass tractors that are still ag? I don't know.
I feel bad for Clint, really. I feel like Clint, this is a weird comparison, but Clint's like the pro mod rule maker of pulling. He has to do all these different combinations into one. So
yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Oh, Devin said TNT.
Oh, Devin, have they put out a post that I haven't seen yet? Hang on.
Devin, please reiterate, please.
That's a curveball. Hang on, man. I'm going to their page quick. Yeah, but my Light Pro guys, if you guys are watching Chris Comaroni, this applies to you more than anybody. Williamstown, Kentucky, the first weekend in May, I think it's May 3rd. Yeah, May 3rd. There is going to be a big Light Pro hook. I think right now the purse to win first place is between $1,000 to $1,200. No component Light Pros will be at this pull either. And if the ones show up that I've been told are showing up, it's going to be a heck of a night. Right now, I think we're looking at roughly 15, 16 Light Pros showing up. Chris, we'd love to have you down here, dude.
Yeah.
I know you don't have a hook that weekend.
Heck, nobody should. Except for Williamstown.
Well, there's one up there with the Atlantic.
Yeah, true. But yeah, but back to the discussion point of it, I don't see, and this is just could be my deafness or blindness to it. I don't see the benefit. I understand the portion of, yes, the rear ends are thinning out the way they are. Okay. But if you say you go a component tractor and light limit, okay, you're a single turbo.
Yeah, I gotta answer Chris real quick. Williamstown, Kentucky, May 3rd. It's just on the other side of Lexington, Kentucky, just before you get into Ohio, I think. Okay, continue. Yeah. Sorry. I wanted to get that while I saw it and forgot about it.
Right, but as Chris said, light limited superstock power is considerably less than our light pro. Yes, by a bunch. Can it be something safety or weight related? Yes, but also if you understand, and I could be completely wrong here, but if you know your setup, you shouldn't have that trouble. Didn't really need that much move away for a component. If you know it, you should be able to run it without having a component chassis. Say you have an alcohol guy or something, go into the light limit as a component. Okay. Take it off a base. You're 2 turbos away from a light superstock. Theoretically. So what keeps you away from running light super then? Because you're roughly the same weight already. 62, 6,300, you're in light superstock. So
yeah, I mean that argument can be made.
Heck, Outlaw has a light superstock cast class that is run by multi-charge tractors day in and day out. So I don't know where to go with it.
Yeah. Chris said 2 Smith tractors last year broke transmission at Keystone. So Chris, where are we at on that one? Are we for it with it being the transmission breakage, or are we against it? I'm not real sure. Greg Franger said, Chris, I agree. I don't know. Greg Franger said cubes. Yeah. I don't know, y'all. The only thing it says on TNT's page is that TNT has locked the light limited tractor class rules for 2 years, effective for the 2025 season. So I assume that means they're staying as a whole.
So that means no movement.
Yeah.
Not a fan of building one myself. Telling like, yes, it is a very large initial investment.
But I mean, a transmission giving out after so long and a rear end kind of giving out after so long. Yeah, I got nothing for you on that one. I mean, besides stuff just wears out. Charles said, makes the class obsolete unless no one runs it except the willing. If you don't, you won't. Problem maybe solve itself and only a handful even try. Yeah, like we don't know what's going to happen here with them. I mean, at all. Like, I mean, it's like they said, this is going to be a next year deal. I mean, they're not allowing them this year at all. So I will be curious to see if we see any guys. I'll be curious to see if any of the guys that run typically all year round, if they back out for the year, just so they can go ahead and get their tractor switched over to component for 26.
But then again, it goes to the possibility of, like, say back to Richard or the Wayland tractor that's an Oliver that's selling too.
Is this still for sale?
Yeah. Is the discussion about that them selling also underlined with the component discussion? It can be, we don't know, but it's something to think about, because if you have guys selling wanting to get out of the class because it's coming, okay, you definitely don't have an audience that likes where it's going. So
yeah, I don't know.
It's hard. It's hard.
I mean, it's gonna be something to watch for sure. I think we're gonna see more component light pros out this year too on the other side of things, but it's gonna be a wait and see game. I mean, we're gonna have to see how this shakes out. Is 250 pound give enough for the ag guys? I don't know.
Yeah, Zach needs to be here for discussion. Yeah, Zach would probably rip it to shreds. So
Zach,
there's that.
Yeah, Zach, we know where Zach would be on this one, and I don't know. It's something to keep an eye on throughout the season. I think that's a fact. I mean, just kind of watching where the numbers go and how everything moves around. I think that's fair to say, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah, again, 250 pounds. I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, all right, what does that do to a balance of a tractor? That throws it off right now.
Yeah, exactly.
All depends on your track type too. Some tracks can handle it, some tracks won't. There's some tracks that are way more consistent than others that will make the difference non-existent. And then some tractors that's like, all right, ag guys hook up here, component guys don't, and then flip it, vice versa. So
Yeah. I'm gonna be really curious to see how it goes. But yeah, I mean that's something that's happened. I mean, it's something to keep an eye on now. But there were some other things that NTPA dropped that I don't think any of us were expecting. At least I wasn't. Were you?
we're talking about Galaxy Tour, correct, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. The NTPA dropping out the Galaxy Tour for this year. So 2025 competitors with NTPA Grand National vehicles will have the opportunity to become part of the newly crafted Galaxy Tour Competitor Incentive Program. All right. Winners circle bonus money, top 5 finishers among Galaxy participants in each Grand National, Super National points class will receive a Galaxy Tour prize checks for an additional fund derived from sponsorship and live streaming activities separate from the event purse and Grand National year-end funds. The initial estimate of the size of the 2025 fund is 250 grand. And they gave a breakdown of all that stuff somewhere, right?
Yes, there is a, and anybody on here can go look at that whenever they please. There is a PowerPoint breaking this entire thing down as to what you get. And this, I'll say around, it underlies Grand National. So Light Pro, Limited Pro, Regional will not, from what I understand, will not get this benefit unless something changes down the road where it then applies to Regional, which was possibly down the road thing. But
oh yeah, I think it's 100% down the road type of thing, don't you?
Yeah, I think so too. I think it'd more or less be a regional bonus thing, but let's take it off the top layer alone right now. What I see in it is what everybody's been asking for all along is how does this come back to the pullers and what bonus does it give us? Okay. Take a Grand National competitor, you, Shane, or us, or whoever you want to take. You're in this program, an initial investment for yourself to get the extra crew person license, hero cards, etc., all this throughout the season. The initial thought is to break it down and give a benefit towards the end of the season to where you're coming out in the positive, which is a very, very good possibility if you finish well enough.
Yeah.
It also brings in a place for sponsors that are on the fence about becoming an NTPA sponsor that are not a title sponsor, like say Bexar or Yoder, Case IH, High Torque Starters for Super Farm. It brings those guys in to help get their name out there with this program. And it also gives them a spotlight for us as competitors to give them the light they need to then again bring in more to us and help them grow their business more. I was waiting. I'll be honest. I was waiting for somebody to just rip it to shreds at first. And the thing is, we haven't seen what it can do.
We haven't seen anything yet at all.
So, take it off the top layer. I personally think this is going to be a good thing for the longevity of it. For one, it will increase interest when it comes to Grand National competition.
I agree.
We've seen this in our class alone. Our sign-up numbers for our class this year are already higher than last year. And this is before the program. Now, can the program also ensue that more are coming? It doesn't guarantee it, but it may pique the interest because there's guys on the fence that maybe see this program like, all right, now that drive to Benson won't be so bad if we finish well enough. We can get our diesel money back and then some. So,
yeah.
And then again, bring more competitors. It brings a better show to the fans. Your higher events, Toma, Bowling Green, such will bring in, say, higher crowds, higher competition numbers, and all in the end, like everybody's wants, bring in more. So
yeah, exactly. So, I mean, just some of the perks that we see for some of these things. I mean, there's obviously the money part of it, which I don't have in front of me. And based off the way my internet's been acting, I'm not going to ask it to do much more than what it's been doing right now. Just saying. So just the things I see on the NTPA site that I had pulled up here, a supply of printed hero cards for each Galaxy Tour vehicle to distribute to fans. They're kind of, the fact that they're providing that's pretty neat, because I mean that's always been something that I think everyone's kind of struggled to, I don't want to say have, but just kind of keep up with, because we've already got so much other stuff going on to begin with. So I think that by itself is absolutely fantastic.
I think it brings in more of the professional aspect, where it makes the drivers and drivers, including their vehicles, the stars.
Oh, heck yeah.
For the longest time, we've always seen, yes, Esden's a legend. The Holmans are legends. We've always seen that. Yeah. But the competitors now that are fully running full time,
more of them. Yeah.
Yes. So
did you see Dusty Price's post earlier it was either late last weekend or early Monday. I can't remember when I saw it.
You might as well enlighten me and the people watching.
Yeah. So Dusty put up a post about how they had a corporate sponsor lined up for truck and tractor pulling, but they lost interest because we didn't have, kind of like what NASCAR does with their post-race press conferences with the drivers. I'll be honest, that's actually something I have never thought about coming into pulling. Would it be extremely hard to wrangle everybody together to do something like that? Yeah. But then again, what's your media availability going to be going forward too? You know what I mean? So I think that'd be something that'd be really neat. I mean, I'd like to see something like that come into play, wouldn't you?
I'd love to see it test the waters at a place like Toma or Bowling Green or something like that, where you have a facility, say like an event center, or even like Farley, you have an event center right at the side. You can set up a stage or a table or something like that right there for people to ask questions, say anything about what happened.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to throw out a challenge, and I might get kicked in the rear end for it, but I want to see this happen. I challenge there to be like a post tractor pulling press conference after the event's over there in Farley,
which I think is going to happen. I think it's already in line to happen. Because it happened at the Yankee Dirt Track Classic that we were at. All the top finishers were in there, top three. Yeah. And like Robert said, Brandenburg has it with the post-poll interviews, and who says that Brandenburg would stop there? You never know. Brandenburg might take this and run with it and do something exactly the same. They have a couple buildings they host events in between sessions right there that fans could literally walk right to.
Yeah.
And see the pullers, hear them talk about it, get to meet them, whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly. So y'all that's watching, kind of let me know what your thoughts on that are. I mean, we all know, I know everybody's busy and trying to load up and check everything over and all that kind of stuff, but what would y'all think about that? I'm curious.
I'd be also interested, like we were just talking about Keystone. Keystone has a great facility to try and do that.
Yeah, they do.
They may not do it now, but they have the capabilities and the availability there to do it.
I'll tell you somewhere else I would like to see, it's Midwest Nationals, just because you literally could spotlight everybody, because that is literally everything to do with pulling.
Right, and you get that, like I said again, you get that cross-organization factor in there where you bring in guys with differing opinions that see different stuff all year long, and you can also challenge them in their own associations to say, hey, we need to do this, or we need to try this, or do this different.
I totally agree.
It ultimately makes us better.
And you know something? I really think that opens up a totally different realm too, because I think that could be the key to something like somebody like Drag Illustrated or some of those guys coming to events like that, because they would be able to have access to the drivers at a press conference kind of like that. You know, I mean, they can still come now and shoot and do all that stuff, but it's not like they know, like they know us, but they don't know the other people that are there, right? So we could incorporate them a lot easier if we had something like that, I think. I want to see it done. And if whoever's watching, I think it'd be a big deal.
Yeah. I'll say it again. I think it'll make us better in the end. It'll make us more, as the competitors personable to the public, more relatable. They'll want to come around us more, see us every weekend, become fans, and follow us throughout the circuit.
Yeah, absolutely. So you want to dive into the Chris? I'll be honest with you. A lot of it's just time constraints. I'll be 100% honest with you. That's what a lot of our problem is when we go to pools.
Time constraints, pullers wanting to either say you got a small event like a regional or something
smaller,
like that. Guys are loading up and leaving before
like
guys in the first class, and I've never understood, for myself especially, I've never understood the first class people loading up and leaving and not watching the rest of the pool. I understand you have a long ways to drive, but in the same sense, you already drove all that way during the day if you already took off work.
Yeah, exactly.
Why not watch the other guys that have to get put in that polling spot too, to watch what they do and support them?
Yeah, Robert, I totally agree. I mean, I think there's a really big area here, but it's just going to be a matter of, I think inclusion's a good word for it. Like, is everybody going to be allowed to do it and be a part of it?
Another thing.
I think that's
another
the thing right now.
I think
we don't know. We don't know what's going on.
Right. And another thing too is like a lot of, and this is just what I've seen from the surface, but pullers are harder to interview. You get them in the winner's circle. I'm not saying all of them do it. Some are really, really good at interviews, but some are hard at talking. And it's like some are like talking to a wall.
He does that one word answer thing just to aggravate the absolute crap out of me whenever I'm interviewing him too.
Which some guys like myself, I will be.
And it works.
Social anxiety is also a crap shoot.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, y'all hammer away at that one in the comments. We're gonna come back to this. Nah, Chris, Smokey's gotten he's pretty good interview now. I'll be honest, he's a pretty good interview now. It was a lot of fun interviewing him at Midwest Winter Nationals.
He's done it so much at Midwest Winter Nationals, he's getting used to it.
Yeah, he's kind of like, yeah, okay, this is a thing. So yeah, so you want to talk about NHRA? What in the crap happened today? All of a sudden, we see Maryland Speedway hasn't been sold. We see Galot hasn't been sold because we saw Galot, and of course, our minds went right to our buddy that lives there, and it's kind of, I think we kind of know. I wonder if it was an article that was posted for the wrong date. I've just, with us scheduling our stuff, I've done that before.
I think NHRA has been on such a roller coaster for the last week or so. Like with the announcement of the schedule, bringing your pro races back, bringing fuel back and all that, the President's Cup. We have friends from Maryland, Daryl, one of our good buddies.
Yeah.
His home track and one of his favorite races coming back. Such a high. And all of a sudden we're just like, bang, roller coaster again.
Which they're still having the events at these tracks. They just don't own them like they were.
I think there was a misinterpretation somewhere.
I think so too, maybe. I mean, and mistakes happen. It could have just purely been a flub. Who knows?
Yeah. And again, like you said, it could be something that happened too early because we do have friends that are with drag strips that are already both places, drag strips that are already purchased that say, yeah, they're in talks. So give it time. I think it's another thing. Give it time. It's going to solve itself out. People that jump the gun, don't jump the gun because you may not have all the information. So, but I do think having, from the surface, again, I'm going to say, I think having our NHRA back and bringing stuff back is piquing a lot of interest. I mean, there's people that were ecstatic about events coming back to these racetracks. National Trail Raceway, I believe it is in Ohio.
Yeah.
Maryland International Raceway bringing the President's Cup back. There's other places, Milan Dragway up in Michigan, having events back at those places. Like if you looked at the comments and the shares from those events, having those drag strips having events, there is so much interest there. So I think, like I said, just give it time. It's going to solve itself out.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I did watch some of the Speed Promotions racing group last night, the old Street Outlaw boys. last night. Apparently, they're going to be racing for $100,000 at Beach Bend Raceway, which is like 2 hours away from the house. So I'm going to be curious to see how that how many cars show up for that. I wonder if we'll see the return of Big Chief there at Bowling Green, maybe, because $100,000's a lot of money.
$100,000's a lot of money.
Yes, I would love to see Cromod in person. I'll be honest.
You wouldn't see
the crew.
You wouldn't see the Cromod. You'd see the Crow, not the Cromod. The Cromod's in a storage unit.
Oh, I thought he was bringing back the Cromod this year.
Cromod's a full NHRA legal pro mod, so.
Oh, well, huh?
I don't know.
Yeah. So I mean, I kind of want to go back to this topic of expanding like our coverage and stuff. Like, how do we get to a point where we know the drivers are available? You know what I mean? Because I think that's another part of it. Is like, oh crap, are they busy? Do they want to? Type of deal. You know what I mean? Like, how do you get to that point?
I'm going to give Outlaw their flowers that they're due here. Their app, the Outlaw app, is one place where we've seen that very easily. Pullers
that
sign
doesn't
up.
have to do with the driver availability after they're done running, though.
No, but it gives, like, say, fans that have the app, that have downloaded the app to know who's coming or the distances, like if they're at another event. You know who's coming to what event. And they might sign up early, they might sign up the day of, but at least you know, if you're a local going to that event, you know who's going to come and when you show up.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And I think with what Outlaw's shown from it, that there's going to be more of that coming down the pipeline. Absolutely. And I think that's one way to do it, for at least the driver aspect, to know who's coming, for the fans to know.
Yeah. I mean, you guys watching this, what's y'all's opinions on this? Like, how do we get to that point? Because I mean, a lot of you guys watching our drivers.
Right. Another thing is that some teams have done a great job of setting a schedule, at least a preseason schedule. You know, you have your association schedule, and you make a list of events that you are going to be at or planning to be at. I know we do it. We don't post about it, but we have a list events we go to.
Yeah, you and I need to get together and put together like what events Motorsports Almanac's going to be at for the year. I think we need to do that this year. I think we're to that point.
Right, but as like going back to the competitor standpoint, doing that and at least knowing and posting to let your fans at least know that you're going to be at these events and you show up and see us. Yeah,
I mean, I understand. From a pulling perspective, we can't have literally everybody lined up and down the track like we do at drag racing events. I totally understand that. But I think just the ability for everybody to do these interviews and stuff with these drivers, I think that could be a really big thing. Charles just said that is what Galaxy Tour was designed to do. Okay, so potentially we're just beating a dead horse with the discussion then, maybe.
But it can also make the regional people step up and do it themselves too. They can, say, hey, we have this scheduled events going. We're gonna be at these regionals, but we're gonna show up to these Super Nationals. So
yeah, exactly. So I don't know. They do. Let's see. Robert says they do it in dirt, late model racing. Dirt on dirt has great coverage. Interview top 3 with video highlight of event. Yeah, I think there's some potential here. Like I think there's something to this. Maybe we need to get Dusty on and discuss this further sometime. I don't know.
Yeah, Dusty's seen both worlds of this when it comes to sprint cars too. So I think that he would have some light to shed on this too.
For sure.
He's not the only one. Obviously, Shelton's are one too that they have to make a list of events they're going to run NHRA outside of NHRA when they go polling too. So. Yeah, there's something there.
Yeah, there is. Have we covered pretty well everything that we set out to cover tonight, dude? Because I can't think of anything off the top of my head right now. I think that's pretty well everything.
Yeah, I think that'll do it. Really, I mean, obviously, I'm going to reiterate again. People, you're not going to have a shortage of shit to watch this weekend.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Keystone. If you want to watch the indoor Putin pole from the Netherlands, we'll absolutely share a link when we get one. Or if we find one, we'll share that out. Always keep track of flow racing in different places like that. You can watch other events. NHRA is off for a couple weeks until they go to Phoenix, where the pro mods will resume because they didn't do eliminations in Gainesville.
Yeah, that's unfortunate too.
So, I think
I am going to post a link to the live stream for Keystone Nationals in the chat real quick before we get out of here.
Yep.
Paste. Yep. What's smoking live stream? Really? Huh. Is Clint doing the live stream at Keystone? Must be.
Oh, Clint Tucker.
Wait a minute. No, it's not him because I'm going to be in his garage on Saturday. So maybe Zolik's going to be the one there doing it? Maybe that's what it is.
No idea. No idea.
Know,
we're kind of always. I think this is kind of like the last week before we kind of get sort of like St. Patrick's Day kind of break, and then we go right back into Peter A. Drag Wars, Hammond. Then we go into Crusades Pole, Litchfield, and then Dirt Track comes back. Dirt Track comes back at the beginning of April. So
you're going Nippy 50 again, ain't you?
I'm planning on it.
Good.
Early season, $50,000 to win. So
that'll be fun.
So
that's
all I got for discussion points tonight. I think we covered everything.
Yeah, that's all I got too, y'all. Like I said before, we can't say thank you to all of you guys for supporting us up to this point. We will have a show next week. Tommy Franklin Motorsports, the entire crew will be on. We are going to be hammering that show home as much as we can throughout the week to make sure we get the biggest reach possible and the biggest crowd possible for them to give them the spotlight they deserve. Because whenever I text Daryl about it, I was like, hey, because we're going to have Daryl Jackson Jr., who you guys have seen before, on with us next week too for that, just so because they've been around. He's been around them more than we have, right?
Yes.
He said he couldn't think of a time when all of them have sat down together and done an interview like they're going to do next week. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And then, like I said, we're going to drop a Steve King interview on you guys. It won't be a live one. It'll be recorded just because, we don't want to upset the algorithm any more than we already have. Thank you, Facebook. But, y'all, a lot of good stuff coming down the pipeline. Like I said, please make sure you like.
Also,
share,
send us discussion points too.
Yeah, like, share, subscribe, and follow, please, please, please. For us, it helps us out more than you guys will ever know. But until then, we will see you guys again soon, and thank y'all for tuning in tonight.